Rain is usually just rain in a saguk or historical K-drama. Background noise, mood lighting. But at the end of episode 3 of Under the Queen's Umbrella, the rain turns into a straight up statement. If you're my kid, I'm standing with you, publicly, privately, soaking wet, I don't care. The ending of that episode is not sweet at first. It's raw at first. A kid gets exposed for cross-dressing. The one private place he had gets destroyed, and the person who's supposed to protect him is also the person who did it. The scene doesn't let you hide from that. Grand Prince Gaesong isn't quietly grateful. He's mad. He's hurt. He's looking straight at his mom like, you saw me, and your answer was fire. And then the queen stands there and takes it, because there's no excuse that can erase what just happened. This entire episode frames acceptance as something that has to survive conflict, something tested under pressure while someone is shaking with anger and humiliation. And you can't fake your way through that moment. If you flinch, you make it about yourself. If you try to fix the emotion instead of holding it, the damage multiplies. The queen doesn't do that. She doesn't act like he's overreacting. She doesn't make him beg for basic dignity. She doesn't punish him for having feelings about being violated. She just stays present, and then, crucially, she builds something back. And that rebuild isn't abstract. It's concrete, closed like the one he lost. A portrait that acknowledges the self he's been forced to split off and hide. The hairpin she says she's been saving for her daughter if she ever had one. Those details matter because they don't ask him to become normal for her comfort. They meet him where he is and say, I see exactly what this is, and I'm not pretending it's something else. I think a lot of people carry this quiet fear that if they're fully known, the best case scenario is tolerance. Like, I won't disown you, but let's not talk about it. Or, I still love you, but can you keep it down? That's a particular kind of loneliness because it turns love into a negotiation. It teaches you to manage yourself constantly, monitor your tone, your interests, your softness, your edges, whatever it is that got labeled as risky. You become hyper aware of rooms and faces. You learn to scan for danger without even thinking about it. You start living like you're always one mistake away from the atmosphere changing. So when you see a parent choose the opposite, choose open protection, you feel it in your body, even if you've never had it. Especially because the umbrella part isn't just tender, it's public. They're walking back to where other people exist, where rumors travel, where hierarchies punish. The queen putting the umbrella over him is her saying, if shame is coming for you, it has to come through me first. An important aspect of this episode is it also shows repair after betrayal. People talk about forgiveness like it's an on-off switch, like if you love someone, you should just flip it. But when trust gets broken, the mind doesn't reset because somebody explains themselves. Your body remembers. Your expectations shift. You start bracing. You start measuring every future interaction for signs it'll happen again. The queen doesn't ask him to ignore that. She doesn't demand quick forgiveness. She takes responsibility in action. She gives him a symbol. She gives him a version of the truth that isn't cruel. That's what repair looks like when it's real. The person who caused harm does work that costs them something. And the cost is important too. A lot of parents want to be good in a way that keeps their image intact. They want credit for loving you. They want to feel progressive, generous, patient. But the moment loving you threatens their standing, their pride, their sense of being right, they tighten up. That's when love turns conditional. The queen is literally drenched. The show makes sure you see it. She's not just offering words under a roof where it's safe. She's walking through discomfort with him. And I don't even mean the rain. I mean the social weight of what she's doing. There's also something heartbreaking in the fact that his secret space is destroyed right after she finds out. That's how it feels when you're outed in any way. Your mind starts replaying everything. Who knew? Who watched? What did they think? What did I miss? You start rewriting your own history because now your history has witnesses. And the worst part isn't even their opinion. It's the loss of control. You didn't choose the timing. You didn't choose the setting. You didn't get to prepare. You were just suddenly exposed. In that mindset, even support can feel suspicious. Because you're thinking, do you really mean it? Or are you just trying to calm me down so you can manage the situation? That's why the portraits and the hairpin are so important. They aren't about controlling him. They're about affirming him. They don't shrink him. They don't steer him. They don't label him as a problem to be solved. The queen basically says she wasn't angry at who he is. She was shaken because she didn't know how to protect him. That's a totally different message. It tells him, your existence isn't the danger. This world is. When you grow up thinking, I'm the problem, you internalize it as your identity. You carry it into every friendship and relationship. You become cautious with joy. You become guarded when you're relaxed because being relaxed feels like you're about to get caught. You second-guess compliments. You interpret silence as rejection. You treat neutrality like a warning sign. You don't even realize how much energy it takes until you have one moment of genuine safety and your brain goes quiet for a second. It's not euphoria, it's relief. It's a drop in tension you didn't know you were holding. And I think that's the importance of that umbrella walk for a lot of viewers. It's not just, oh, she's a supportive mom. It's the idea of being protected without being corrected, of being looked at without being edited, of being seen and not turned into a lesson. It's also the grief of realizing how rare that has been in your own life. The scene makes it look simple, but it isn't. It requires a parent to have humility, to admit they were wrong, to tolerate discomfort, to risk their own reputation for their child's dignity. A lot of people don't get that. They get love that's real but fearful, love that panics, love that tries to control the thing it doesn't understand. The show only touches this for a moment, but it asks a question. What would I be like if I didn't have to hide parts of myself to be loved? The small parts, the softness, the weird interests, the way you move when you're not putting on an act for others, the voice you use when you're not trying to sound acceptable, the desire to be held without having to justify it. When you imagine that, it's almost destabilizing because it changes what you think is possible. It raises the standard. It makes you less willing to settle for relationships where you have to earn your spot every day. And it also challenges the way we talk about strength. Grand Prince Gaesung isn't strong because he toughs it out alone in secrecy. The strength is in surviving shame and still showing up as himself. The queen isn't strong because she's powerful. She's strong because she chooses her child's humanity over the rules that would make her life easier. By the time the episode ends, I'm not thinking about palace politics. I'm thinking about all the versions of people who learned early that love comes with terms. I'm thinking about how many of us are still negotiating for permission to exist. And I'm thinking about how healing it is to watch a parent hold the umbrella steady, not because of the rain, but because they decided their kid shouldn't have to stand in it alone.